Okay. Am I muted? Let's take a look. It says I'm not muted, so I'm gonna go with not muted. Yeah, here I fucking am. Let's see. Yeah, fuck you, Discord. So, anyway, I am here to draw you a fucking map today. Although I haven't gotten any notifications that I've gone live. That's weird. We can spend a few more minutes checking on that. Look at that. I see me. I'm going to mute my mic here just for a second so I can check to see how I sound. Did I get it too late? Let's see if we get some feedback. Okay. It seems to be working. We're awfully quiet, so I'm going to take us up. Uh-oh. How's that? 1, 2, 3. You know what? We could be even fucking louder. There's nothing wrong with being loud, right? You can always turn me down. You get to see my hand there. Fuck you. Goddamn piece of shit. That's how you can tell when I'm clicking the wrong buttons. Do boop, and boop, and boop, and boop. And we go up. And yeah, that should do okay. Let's see how we sound over here. Talking words. Okay. Ah, fuck. That's way in the red. Good enough. Good enough. Okay. So, once again, I am here to stream some fucking map making for the adventures in Calor. So, if you are one of my players in Calor, kindly fuck off. And don't watch this. So, oh, is that finally the notification? Yeah, that's the notification. Maybe people start showing up. It'll give me time to load my pipe and hopefully not get tobacco all over everything. So, the thing that I'm going to be working on tonight is for a semi-mega dungeon. I don't want to call it a true mega dungeon. There's only like maybe 7 levels to it. And the party was able to make an ally with a necromancer. Necromancer warlock, pretty much cultist devoted to Orcus, that goes by the name the Red Eye. And the Red Eye needed a favor done. And that favor was to distribute these weird little slugs that were in jars to corpses on the different levels of the dungeon. And in exchange for that, the Red Eye provided a map for a super quick way down. So the party agreed. They took this map and they cut their way down through, and actually they kind of cheated. It was pretty ingenious of them. They went up to the easier levels, got them some fucking goblin corpses, threw those into bag holding, and then as they were passing through each level, they just tossed out a corpse, put a slug on it, and continued upon their merry little way. You know what I could do? I could change what we're streaming to, because we are not playing Star Wars right now at all. Let's change that to, we're going to go art question mark. Down here. You just do art. Yeah. That's a first for our stream. I think. Maybe. Give it a little refresh real quick. So, anyway, so they distributed the goblin corpses to all the different levels in exchange for this map so they could get to the bottom of the dungeon. They were looking to get to the bottom of the dungeon because there's a spaceship. You know, if I got my mic on that side, turn my stem this way. That way I don't have a microphone between me and you. Yeah. So they worked their way down with the map from the Red Eye. They were going to the bottom because there's a spaceship at the bottom, and they're now the owners of that spaceship, but they don't have all the parts to make it work. But getting down there was the first part. Well, since then, this Red Eye fellow, who would be surprised, ends up to be an asshole. So, what they did, what the Red Eye was doing, that could be a little tighter. Let's try that. He started manufacturing undead. Ooh. I bumped my little controller on my line and it spiked the audio, so I apologize for that sound flare up. So, yeah. He started manufacturing undead. They started spilling out into the surface. They've sieged the fucking city that they're based out of, or the fort called Fort Kessin. And they finally decided, you know what, we need to do something about the Red Eye, because obviously we empowered him in exchange for his assistance. So he is our responsibility. So let's go fucking deal with him. Which is fine. And responsible. I'm gonna try and keep my shit centered. Now I can actually push this map up. So well, that's too bad. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. They're going to deal with him. They made their way through here before, and essentially, yeah, they're just going to go down and kick his ass, and that's what they're in the middle of. They're in the middle of level 1, which I've already got set up. The thing is, seeing as before the dungeon was kind of a free-for-all, and actually the Red Eye had set up shit to kind of assist adventurers down. There was another one of those audio spikes. We'll just keep an eye on that. Shit. I keep getting sidetracked. That's the great thing with talking with me for a prolonged period of time. I get sidetracked really easy. So anyway, they're on their way back down to try and murder the shit out of the Red Eye. And that's the gist of it. Before, the whole dungeon was just kind of free-for-all with the Red Eye leaving hints to help them. Now the Red Eye has taken over and he's fucking booby-trapped the shit out of everything. So the first time they went through, I'll move this out of the way. This is kind of what the dungeon looked like. There was a few factions going on in here. You've got the entrance here. Warning from the Red Eye about some of the shit going on. And then you kind of see I've got some of the rooms in different colors, mainly black. It's purple here, but on the camera it looks really blue. And then red. The red were some kobolds that were actually in service of the Red Eye, led by King Fearno, as my little note says right there. And they had a bunch of traps set up through here. But then there was also a giant spider, think Shelob, or however the fuck you pronounce that name, from Lord of the Rings, hanging out here, a boba, living there. And also there's a boba, there were some other giant spiders, and there was also a few driders living in this area with them. So the first time they went through, they didn't even come across any of the kobolds, just the traps. But they fought plenty of undead and plenty of spidery shit, and they killed a boba. So what we're going to be working on tonight is the updated map for what's going to happen next. So I kind of, where's my pencil? Pencils help for starting. I'll put it over here. Hey, there's me 6 saying that I went live. It's about fucking time. So anyway, yeah, let's just get started. We have the first room, as I smush ash everywhere. Let's go over here. Let's go right here. First room. Second room where the Red Eyes warning was the first time. I'll probably put another warning in there, an updated one. I don't know what the words are yet. So right now, let's just focus on our outline. So then we come over to another room. And in my original map, I was working on larger graph paper. So everything was a 4x4. But this is my Licterm. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce the goddamn name. This shit right there. That's what I'm working on. And I love this fucking notebook. So that's what I'm going to be transposing this map into. So we get another room. In this room the first time through, there was a injured dwarf, dying dwarf, who gave them a warning about a boba, maybe? In addition to the Red Eyes warning, or maybe it was about the kobolds. I don't fucking remember. But opening into this, we have a extra long room. I think that's right. And it opened up over here to a side room. This map, this dungeon, it was really just me using every fucking bit of paper space. So everything is very square and grid based, which it's fine, whatever. So, actually, is that correct? That is correct. There's a room here. There's not a room down. There's a room here. And these are more singles. And here. And they connect in the center because they're friends. And I'll try to keep my hands out of the way, but I'm a big oafish fucking dude, so we'll see how that works. Now this one connects over. In some of these doors I got some special shit planned for, and we'll get there here in a little bit. Let's see what we got. I got some Discord notifications. Let's see what the fuck's going on. Alright. Okay, so, and you got another room that drops down. Now, if I remember correctly, this was a secret door. And I don't remember if they got that. And then also there was a secret cubby over. Oh, you guys can't see that. My bad. This was a secret door right there, and then that was a secret cubby. I don't know if I can tweak I'm talking too much, my pipe's going out. Let's try this again. I want to cheat. Okay. So, that was a secret compartment. What was in there? An immovable rod. I don't think they ever found that one the first time through. Because they have a fucking stash of immovable rods that they stole from a merchant in the rival trading company's fort. Because, you know, why not? And I'm not... Yeah, you guys can't see that. God, I wish that focused better. Let's stick with the focus. There we go. Whoop. And we're gonna go... See, the problem is I am using just a regular old webcam for this shit. And it is not happy about it. Come back, you. I'll scooch you down. Ah, that's worse. That's not bad. I'll go with that. That's a 10 on the manual focus. Fuck you. There we go. Alright. Back with the map. Hidden compartment. They didn't find it. Another room coming down. And, let's see. There it is. We're in that room. Arrow trap. I don't think they had any trouble with that trap. For being a bunch of idiots, they're a bunch of very cautious idiots. but with the number of, you guys can't see that, goddamn, with the number of characters that I have killed in this campaign, who blames them? And there's a, now this, if I'm correct, oh, boop, and this is the bottom row for the map. And then it comes to a larger rectangle. And this was getting into the areas that the kobolds lived in. Now the reason why the kobolds, they were in service of the Red Eye, and it was simply because here in the kobold section, you can see behind Ferno's throne room, they had a secret compartment to a tunnel that led up to the surface into the nearby forest. So the Red Eye used that for supplies and whatnot. Wiggling the camera. See, I wish I didn't have that bit of shadow in there. Oh well. And so this is a giant right angle of a room, but it lines up with the bottom row of that. Does not exit out, and then you exit up, close you off, and this was ditching the pipe. Sorry guys, I'll come back to it. Ferno's throne room with the secret passage up. So now that the Red Eye has taken over this dungeon, he still keeps the kobolds under his control. Basically, before it was, he provided them protection, and they guarded his exit to the surface. And I presume they also did like supply runs and shit for him. What was in this room? This was a, I can't see that. There's a chest rigged to explode, cannon facing that way. I just don't remember the party coming across that. So let's come back over here. So, we're at the bottom here. These two broke that way, that one broke that way, and then we don't have another opening heading towards the left until down here. And then it's a double up. And I've got a real soft lead in here. I'm going pretty light with the pencil marks, and what the plan will be is once I get the dungeon sketched out, I'll go over it again with my pens. And I'll go through and I'll number these rooms after I have it in. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and take it this direction along the bottom. What's going on, phone? Nothing. So as we were coming this direction in the original go through the dungeon, the kobolds had a series of traps coming off of that. That's 6 rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6. And this one over here, that's the dead end. This one cuts up. Get rid of that. You cut across. Oh, my lines are all over the fucking place, aren't they? And you cut up as well. So, yeah, we got 2 ups, no up, 2 ups, no up. So, coming back this way from the top, oops, you let go. We have another room, and this is the room that's sat on top of Aboba's lair. And Aboba's lair stretches clear down to this point, so it's 3 regular room in width or length. That's what she said. And this one is actually, this doesn't connect up top. This is another long room here, but it's only 2. So the way this worked the first go through, and there's going to be a door just kind of in the middle here, is Aboba's lair, and then Aboba's hatchery was that room. And so they fought Aboba, and then they had a bunch of smaller spiders to dig with. But the thing is, they had this escape thing, but this was just a real small tunnel, maybe like a foot in diameter, and it was like at head height, just kind of in the center of that back wall there. And so a bunch of the spiders escaped, and our sorcerer at the time, the sorcerer did not, I think he died on the next level of the dungeon. He just had to go after him, so he had a potion of gaseous form, and he fucking downed it, and foolishly went after the well, I'm off camera again, I'm sorry. I was just connecting these rooms. Now, foolishly, he went after the spiders. Oh, I'm gonna go down. You fuck offline. And this is a kind of a 4-way room. Well, the thing is this room and this room up top here are the Driders that lived on this level. It was their lair. So he popped up, lone sorcerer, thinking he was going to fight some spiders. But no, that's not how it turned out. He ended up fighting some Driders. The halfling wizard managed to squeeze herself through that tunnel, so we had a little backup. But a wizard and a sorcerer against 2 Driders, it was not a great matchup. But the rest of the party rushed around in enough time to save their asses. So teamwork, good job them. And let's see, you connect this way. And you connect this way. Now, if I remember correctly, in this room, there's a cubby up top that had something secret hidden in it. Oh, it was just, I listed loot. I've probably got a spreadsheet somewhere that tells me exactly what I had stashed in that. And this dead ends. No problem. So that means you come down and you drop over and go over there. And you come over here. What road you drop down as well. Let's see, the stairs down was there. So this room here had a secret door, and I don't think they fucked with that door either. Funny thing, after the stairs going down I just described as steep, straight, like cellar style stairs. High roofed, descending into pitch black at a real steep angle. So the sorcerer in the level that was up one came across a ring of featherfall. So he decided to test it out, and he was attuned to it. I think that's an attunement item. And he just fucking leaped down these stairs and just featherfall and just glided down to the bottom into a zombie that was at the bottom of the stairs. So he had to fight another creature all on his fucking own. So, yeah. Anyway. And these rooms are all connected, so I'll just... Do you connect? You do not connect, so you're coming around over there. I might have to mute in a second, I hear something. You don't connect. I think that's the outline of the fucking dungeon. Okay, that wasn't so bad. So in our stairs down, I don't remember if that's the right. And then we had another stair up. Way the fuck. Nope, it was this one. And the main entrance to the caniculum is not where the Red Eye is releasing all of his undead. He's releasing them through the Kobold lair. That way they can't easily find the entrance down. Of course, the party knows where it's at, so it's not a problem for them. Let's see. I'm distracted. One Crit Wonder TV. He is another Twitch streamer that I've been talking with and working with a lot. You guys should definitely check him out if you get the chance. I've completely lost what I was doing. There it is. Okay. So there's our outline. I think before we ink, we need to talk about some of these doors. And actually, you know what we're going to do? Let's go ahead. let's do green for the room numbers. I'm using a, I don't know if you guys can see, I got a camera right here. My TWSBI Eco Fine Nib with, what do I got new? I've got Noodler's Green Cactus, or Cactus Green, whatever it is. And we're going to use this for numbering the rooms because it's easy to fucking read, and I'm getting to be old, and easy to read is always a nice thing. So we'll start up here. 1, 2. I just hope it's cold in here, and I hope it doesn't fuck with how long it's going to take for my ink to dry. And then we come back up the top. And it's just down the fucking line here, isn't it? Let's move you so you're in sight. And then we come over into Kobold territory. 12 and 13. 15, and then we'll come back down for 16 and 17. Okay, and then we come back up to the top. I want to give my page just a second because this shit might take that's probably super annoying. Let me move that off camera and give that a little fan because I don't want to smear it. And me shaking my paper in front of the camera probably wouldn't be good for anyone with vertigo. Okay, so we come back up with, I'm really worried about it streaking, so we're gonna be awkward here. 18. And then down into 19, Aboba's lair. 20 and 21. Yeah, I went back up to the top with 22. That's an ugly ass 2. Six at the bottom. You know what? I'm going to fill out this bottom line. You can't even see that. I'm going to fill out this bottom line because you can already see, look how shiny this wet 26 is against the dried off 17. 32, 37, and 42. And 42 is the last room in this dungeon, at least numerically. So we end on a high note for that. We're going to come back up with 31, 36, and 41. And then back up again with a 30, 35, and 40. Let's give that just a second to dry off. Kind of see, I think we're okay. No trouble there. So let's see, let's go back over here. It's just me here tonight. That's too bad. Right there, 29. You know, I just had a great fucking idea. And 27. Alright, we're going to put my green pen up. And let's do this. Let's go to right there. I'm doing shit on the computer, I apologize. So, with the kind of the major things in this dungeon on the new level, I said we were going to talk about doors, and we need to do that. So, the kobolds still exist on this dungeon. The difference now is that the Red Eye has infused King Fyrno with demonic energies, essentially, and made him kind of, you know, tiefling-esque kobold. I copy that? I need to copy that. I go bam. I need to go clear the fuck down here. So sorry, I'm pimping my... Hey! Party Wipe Games, thanks for the follow. That's fucking awesome. Let's see, I'm pimping myself out on Reddit right now. Because I thought I'm going to be doing this in Fountain Pens. I bet the Fountain Pen subreddit would fucking love to see this. And bam. Might as well. Okay. So back to the game. So anyway. Oops. Fyrno is still there, still loyal, infused with demonic energy. The Red Eye has resurrected Oboba, who lived in that room. And so there's a giant zombie spider running about. And yeah, so anyway, what the kobolds have done, the now demonically infused kobolds have done, is they've blocked off a bunch of these doorways. They've filled them with rubble. They've wrapped everything in spider webs, and then they also got a metric shitload of beads of force from the Red Eye. And I'm having 8 beads of force in each doorway. It's a lot. But the thought is of these traps is these doorways, specifically, I'll just mark with a pencil which ones are going to be blocked off. So let's see, this one's going to be blocked off, so they'll have to, and then redirect down. Then this one, and this one are blocked off, keeping them from going that direction. But so these, and then this one, they can't go up. This is a dead end, so they have to go down, swing through kobold territory. And all these doorways that are blocked off, it's kind of extreme, the trap I've got set up. So they got all these beads of force entangled with these this rubble and this spider web, and the thought is if someone moves up and they just grab something and pull it, they're going to detonate a bead of force. The 5th edition beads of force, they explode and then they bubble whatever was exploded with a small ball of force, essentially. So what's going to happen is that it pops and bubbles at the same time. The person takes that initial bead of force explosion, but then that first explosion sets off the other 7 beads of force trapped inside that bubble with the rubble. And essentially they're just in a fucking shotgun chamber. I've got the damage. 20d10 piercing damage. No, 20d10 damage. 50 of it force. 50% of it force, 50% of it piercing. With a DC 20 to dodge. It's an extreme trap, but my players are wildly fucking overpowered. So it might drop one of them to 50% health. It might drop one of them down to 0. I doubt it would kill any of them. The average damage of that is going to be right around 100. So they can survive that, no trouble. At least not outright die from it. But the plan is they try to disarm it, they get their ass kicked, and they say, well, let's not disarm another one of those. And they fall into the kobold's trap of having to snake through all of this shit. Let's see over there, and let's give a little refresh. That's fine. So, once again, this one was trapped. Now, this room here, 32, you can't see it, 32. It's special. This here was not, you guys can't see that either, not originally on the map. The kobolds have tunneled out between the rooms because this is blocked off. And let's see, that's blocked off. So they have to come through, dead end. They have to come through a Boba's lair. Now this, they've also bubbled off, or blocked off that tunnel, and they've blocked off this. So they have to come through kobold territory. Can't go that way, so they have to come up through a Boba territory, and now they have this convenient tunnel to cut through. And then from here, all of these doorways are untrapped, because at this point, you can go up, up, up. I thought about putting one here, but it would have just been forcing so I didn't. I cut them a break. Once they get into this, I'll probably just load all of these rooms up with ridiculous fucking traps. And make it, so that everyone has a bad time. I'm going to start on this end, and I'm going to ink the lines going this direction so I don't make a fucking mess. For this, I'm using another TWSBI Eco. This is the extra fine. It can't really focus. I've got it set on a manual focus, so it's on at paper level. And in this, I have the Navajo Turquoise from Noodler, I think. We're going to go with that's the ink I've got in it. It's a gorgeous fucking ink, as you'll see here in a second. So I'm going to get a little closer for this because I don't want to fuck up my inked lines. And I'm going to turn my page sideways. And I'm off camera, but you'll fucking survive. And it's okay if these things aren't perfect. Because what I'll do later, once I have this in, is I'll go through with a TWSBI Vac Mini that's got a 1.1 stub on the nib with the same ink in it, and I'll fatten up all of those lines. and then after that I'll go through and I'll put the hatching in, and the end product will look real similar to this. This was done with Weatherman's blue, with a fine Lamy Safari. So yeah, I'll hit it with this. It'll look super spiffy, and it'll be great. So let's connect these and these. Oops. All right, so initially in this room there was just a bunch of loot from the red eye, and the wind is picking up outside. Sorry for that. It fucking rained all goddamn day. So cut back over here, cut back over this direction. It doesn't show. It's such a, like I said, it doesn't. It's a really nice kind of blue. It gives you really the vibe of that old school dungeon mapping on the really super light blue hex grids. It's very nice. But what time is it? In 2 hours, well, actually probably here in about 20 minutes, I'm going to go on break for a little bit and put my youngest to bed. He's hanging out with mom and sister in the front room, probably watching a movie. Oh, fuck you. So I'll put him to bed at, like I said, here in 20 minutes or so. We'll see. I'll just wait for my wife to come out and say, you need to put him to bed. And then at 10, which is in a couple hours, I gotta go because we've got a handful of other streams who do D&D stuff. We're doing a little cross collaboration. I've got a meeting with that, so that'll be fun. Some of the people I work with are super fucking cool. Once we get that started, I'll put some more links down on my Discord. Not my Discord. My Twitch. Down below the video. And you can go down and you'll see One Crit Wonders channel. That is a piece of ash. That's fine. And who else? I got Steven the DM and Khalil Robertson. I think that's his. I've never actually. Khalil Robertson. Yeah, I had it right. And we're going to be working. There's other people there. I just haven't done much with them yet. So I don't have their names off the top of my head. But it'll be super cool. They're really awesome. They'll run a lot of podcasts, and we're a Twitch stream. And our audio equipment is not that fucking great. So I don't want to kick our shit out to a podcast yet. Eventually, we'll get better mics in the room that we stream in. This is not the room that we stream in, if you haven't fucking guessed. This is my fucking garage. 'Cause I can smoke my pipe in my garage. And I can get some privacy here. Mainly it's to protect the others in the house from feeling like they need to be quiet because of me. I don't want to fucking make them feel like they gotta walk around being all extra quiet. So I'll just come out here and do whatever I want, and they can do what they want. Yeah. Where are we at? Right down here. Bam. Bam. And down this direction. I'm really bad about not protecting my paper from myself, my own hands. I don't know if you can see it, but the 36 didn't take the ink so well at the top of it, and it's as I'm drawing across, I'm letting my hands rest on the paper, and the oil in your hands on occasion can fuck up how well the ink takes. But that's okay. You fucking dicks, that is okay by me. Let's see. Alright. Back to work. So where are we at? We're finishing up room 36. You'll see 36, the kobolds had just affixed a bunch of fucking explosives to the ceiling with some trip lines. And I'm fairly positive that the party did not come across that, because they would have found a way to harvest those bombs and use them elsewhere. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. I'm super great with ingenuity like that. Oops, I went a little wide. I just don't remember them running around with a shitload of bombs. You know, my pipe. I'm just talking too much with my pipe out of my mouth. We're going to cheat a little bit and see if we can get this thing going a little stronger. Poke back up through the stem to dislodge the tobacco a little bit. Get a little stronger airflow. Okay, so this line is done. Let's get the doors out of the way. Right across there, right across there. Now let's start back up at the top. That direction. This direction. There's that. I'm still going to, these blocked off passageways, I'm still going to ink them in, and then I'll just fill them in. I've got some Noodler's Gray. I don't think any of my pens are loaded with it too, but I can go borrow one of my wife's pens, and I'll just use Noodler's Gray to fill that in. I'll come over here. So I haven't put a whole lot of thought into the traps that I'm going to load the kobolds up with. I mean, you can kind of see looking off of the previous dungeon. Oh, this was actually, I had a ghoul in here, but also a healing fountain, but the party was so paranoid about it that they bypassed it because they thought it was going to be toxic or some shit. But you can kind of see kind of what I had. Like, here are the driders, giant spiders. Oh, they were hunting for Snurf. Fucking shit. Svirfneblin, hard to say with a pipe. And that's why they were up here. They're still going to be here. They're just going to be undead now. Oh, this was a fun room. 3 orcs were caught in some of Aboba's webbing. And it was kind of a question of, is the party going to help them? Or is the party just going to kill them? And they killed 2 of them and helped one of them down so they could get information, and then they killed them. So they almost did the nice thing. Sturges, I hate Sturges. They make a well enough minion kind of fight, but it's just you're wasting time, I almost think. You know, it's one of those fights, once the party's at this level, they're going to overcome it. And it's not going to be a challenge. It's not going to further the narrative. It's not going to inflict any drama, or it's not even going to really reduce the resources of the party either. Hang on just a second. I need to adjust something. Okay. So I put them in the first time, and it was just a waste of time. And so they're not going back in the second time through. If I had to replace them with something else like that, it would probably just be carrion crawlers. But I would figure carrion crawlers would probably make pretty good foodstuffs for some giant undead spiders. Maybe I can do one of these rooms where a giant spider is encasing a carrion crawler in a silken cocoon, and they fight the spider. They see a humanoid-ish size thing wiggling in this cocoon. They go to cut it free, and oh shit, it's a carrion crawler. It would definitely make for an interesting turn of events. It certainly would. Let's come back up here. So Aboba is going to be undead and back. I'm going to have some other giant spider allies. This was the hatchery. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that, because it definitely... I don't think Aboba would be producing eggs at this point. Maybe she's still acting like there would be, you know, little spiders getting ready to hatch out of there. Fuck. You see what I did? I closed in a door. I hate it when I do that. Let's let that dry for a second, and we'll take care of that. I saw it there, and I just said, let's close that door. That was stupid. Come across over here. It's off camera. Look at that. I wiggled my line. So yeah, I don't remember my train of thought. But I think this time through this dungeon, of course I didn't come across King Fyrno last time. And I think I might push it this time. The thing is, I think I'm going to have... Fyrno and his tribe almost worshipping a boba. You know, kobolds are trap makers. They think themselves as hunters. It would make sense that a giant, monstrous, undead spider would be something that they would envy. Good enough. It doesn't take ink afterwards, but it would just bother the shit out of me if I left that line there. So it's gotta fucking go. Reminds me of a story, but I don't think I can tell it on the stream. I'm sure I probably could. But it's a guy that I used to work with at this retail store. I won't give all the details, but him and all of his buddies were really into group type sex stuff, and he enjoyed telling his stories, and sometimes it was definitely not something you looked forward to ever hearing, but he was one of those kind of assholes that really enjoyed seeing the disgust on other people's faces. But it involved someone sticking a beer bottle in a weird place, and it did not end well. It was fucked up. I shouldn't have even brought it up, but the things that I remember when I'm sitting in my garage talking to myself. Oh, that's off camera. That is off fucking camera. We're just finishing up room 11. What was in room 11? Room 11, you can't see that either, you assholes. Was Alchemist Fire. So, who knows, maybe I'll do the same trap, but this time load the room full of spider webs, just thick throughout the air. So it'll make it really tough for the party to see the trip lines. And what would end up happening is they'll move through the room. I'll put the trip line kind of in the center, if not a little past center of the room. They'll cut through. They'll be kind of just coated in spider webs. Alchemist Fire drops. Spider webs are flammable. And everyone has a bad time. I think that might be a good thing to do. So, in the previous dungeon, or level to this dungeon, let me flip back to it real quick. Where did it go? Oh, that's too far. I just flipped right to it earlier. There it is. Let's steal a tassel. So in this level, the previous level, the party is currently in this room. So what happened in this room? You can see the red eyes left a message, left his symbol and the symbol of Orcus in that room where they currently are. But in this room there was it Moulette's demons, and I just treated it as a roaming pack of demons. And through here, you can see there's a noise trap, fireball, and there's just a bunch of different, another noise trap, and it was just party triggers, and it just makes a very loud sound. The idea was that this pack of demons would be roaming, and I just had to match speed with the party. So the initial passage down was in this room, and you can see I spilt some beer on this page, so it's kind of, and then over on the note side, it's gives it character. I really enjoy it. There's a special enchanted stone inserted here that they had to find, like an iris type glass globe to insert into it, and they found that one, I think, and they set it off, of course, which set off the roaming demons moving through trying to catch them. But the party, you know, they're moving at the same pace as the party, so it's really of course the party didn't know that they were being followed. I gave the paladins a hint, like, you sense, you know, a malicious presence has taken notice of you or some shit like that. And so they tried to stuff that in the eye. Hang on. Oh, you are not. You should just mute. My other laptop that I'm using over off to the side, its fucking audio shit's kind of jacked up, and occasionally the output is kind of garbled, and it's not a physical thing. It's some kind of weird software issue with the driver. And I just haven't wanted to fucking dick with it. Anyway, so they ended up, the demons heard that, so they started making their way here, and then, I don't know, they alerted him somewhere else. They got trapped in the chicken polymorph room for a little bit, and I thought, like, oh, this pack of roaming demons is really going to fuck with them. And they encountered them here, and it was a very one-sided fight. The cleric, or paladin, one of the paladins engaged in melee range, and his AC is just high enough, the demons just couldn't fucking do anything. And then the bard and the cleric came in and just started using control spells and just shut the demons down. And there's one left, and he escaped. So yeah, it didn't go as I thought. But I guess what I was getting at is there was a theme to this. Sound traps located through here, ways to trigger more sound there. The floor boss, which they haven't gotten to, is actually down here. It's a Nalfshini, and he's been leaving mutilated corpses and zombies laying around the dungeon, and he's making them in kind of his own image, which is relatively disturbing. And he has also painted demonic runes. That's what all these little right there, weird little marks on some of these rooms are, is just representing the demonic runes. And pretty much it's a straight path from his lair to his path down. And the rooms that he doesn't really go into don't have anything. Most of these traps will be either traps that he set or traps that the Red Eye set. But the sound orb things is shit that the Red Eye set, along with the roaming demons that started there. So the reason for that tangent is I'm trying to think of what would be my theme for this level. I know I've got a pack of kobolds led by a demonically infused kobold king. I got a giant undead spider and a bunch of other undead spidery dudes. It is very cold outside. What was I doing? I don't know. So I don't know what it is. I don't know. I think Fyrno's going to worship Aboba, and I think maybe the point of his traps is to force them into Aboba's lair for some kind of fight off. One of the other kind of flavor things I was thinking about doing for this dungeon is the kobolds are wanting to leave gifts, offerings to Aboba. So they've been capturing a bunch of zombies and shit and whatever else they come across and wrapping them in the webbings that Aboba and them leave behind. And they're just like adhering them to the walls. So like the walls in this room are just plastered and dead, undead, and dying creatures, along with a lot of the kobolds' traps. And maybe I guess that will be the theme for this dungeon is demonic kobolds and the violent fucking traps that they come up with. Let's get back to work though. Room 6. This is going to be a dead end, since the kobolds have blocked off all the surrounding doors. And I think I might have the kobolds actually remove all the doors that were here. So before, this passage had a door on this side and a door on that side, and now it's just going to be a very short hallway connecting them. And I think this is going to be the exception. This room is going to have a door, because there's going to be some kind of ambush here. Either the party's going to walk into the ambush trying to go up, or they're going to just head down. Because they went down this way. I'm sorry, you can't see that. Last time they cut down. They came up and then they cut down, but they bypassed the kobolds and they just hooked this direction. And I think they ended up cutting up this direction, how they came across Aboba, but then they came back through. And eventually, no, it was they went up this way, and then Aboba, the sorcerer, got here, so the rest of them came around this direction to help out. And then they just kind of meandered around here for a little bit until they got to the stairs down. But I need to get back to inking this fucker up. If I don't finish this tonight, I'm going to finish it off camera, because I'm not going to have the time again this week to sit on camera and draw some more. So, but I'll definitely post the finished product up on Twitter. So if you're not following us on Twitter, you definitely fucking should, because you can see all the stupid things I say firsthand on a daily basis. Let's see, I was thinking about doing the blocked off doorways in Noodler's what is it? It's like Liberty Gray, or not Liberty Gray. Noodler's some fucking gray. I don't remember. And I may just do. I've got a. As I dig around in my. This is what I'm digging, my little pen jar. There it is. My. Close that up. That's a great sound of pen cap coming on or off. My Stipulata Passaporto, I think is what it is. It's an Italian pen. I got it on sale from Goulet. It's a cute little pocket pen. It's just the right size posted. You pretty much can't use it unposted. I mean, you can. It's just awkward. But I've got Noodler's black in that. And this is actually, I bought it as a 1.1 stub. And I think maybe Italian pens just have an extra fine grind on them. Or I didn't get what I paid for and they sent me something else. This is the finest pen I have when it comes to line width. Let's just find a blank page. Sure, I've got blank pages. I fucking skip pages all the goddamn time for some stupid reason. Oh, that's a lot of... okay. So, if we look at this. So let's first off... This is a TWSBI extra fine with that blue. And we'll... You see, it's a pretty fine line. I don't have my Pilot Metropolitan medium inked up right now, but I think it's honestly a little bit finer than that. But this Passaporto, oh, of course, now you're going to be a nice fat line. It is, there is line variation in it, so it's definitely a stub. But the lines that it puts out are just super crisp. And but yeah, I guess if you get it right on the stub, you can get a pretty fat line out of it. Anyway, maybe I'll do the doors in that because I'm fucking lazy and I don't want to get back up and go inside. Anyway, back to business. Room 4. Initially that was this. There's a big old mural. The people that originally made this dungeon were called the Frog, and just frog folk. And they were an ancient, you know, advanced race, but they didn't really... I say advanced, not technologically advanced, but, you know, like kind of spiritually and intellectually advanced. And they lived in this giant burrow. The caniculum, I think, is Latin for burrow or something like this. And it's just this giant burrow city that ended up expanding into the surface. And the surface part of it is called Bufo Medina. And Fort Kesson ended up settling that. Fort Kesson is the base ran by the Prussian Bay Trading Company in my campaign. And they just kind of claimed a portion of the city because the frog kin are long gone. The city on the surface is completely abandoned, but the caniculum, this giant underground dungeon now, it's occupied. And it was occupied. The initial run through, of course, there's kobolds on this level. There was Duergar that had a market level, I think that was level 5. And they were ruled by a fire giant by the name of Humbaba the Terrible, which I totally stole that name from Gilgamesh. Let's go back up this direction. Can you see that? I'm off page again. What else was there? There was a level with some drow on it. Level ran by a beholder in a small slave force that he had, and the beholder was named Clem. And then there was also a level with the Mind Flayers. In my campaign, I called the Mind Flayers the Nodrog, and it's a play off of the Michael Moorcock Prince Corum series. I named the villain space creatures the Nodrog after the evil space creatures in that series, and then the Vodhog, which is what Prince Corum was, which is what essentially the space elves in my game are. And that's where the ship that was at the bottom of this dungeon, it was their ship. And Prince, in the book, he was Prince Corum. I changed it to Prince Cornoth, but it was still the same dude. He had the eye rend in the hand at Quill. Our paladin Casmos, he was an Aasimar paladin. He has both of those, and he had to give up his own eye in his own hand to do it. I got a little bit of dog hair on the end of my pen. But that's the only way you can pilot the spaceship at the bottom of the caniculum is with those. So right now he's the only one who can pilot the ship. But anyway, so yeah, I don't even remember. Anyway, so there was Mind Flayers. They had a layer here, and they were called the Nodrog. Who else had levels on this? There was some Svirfneblin or some Deep Gnomes. They had a layer. They didn't have a layer to themselves. They had a small pocket cavern off of the market that only they could get to. So they were able to trade with the Duergar on their market level. Yeah. We're getting there. Let's go this direction. Come back this direction. Got kind of wild with my pencil line the first time through. Oh shit, I fucked that line up. So down here and over there. We're getting there. Yeah, we'll cut down here. Okay, there's the entire fucking thing inked up. Oh joy. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually take a little break, so I'm just going to put on the break splash fucking words, the break screen, and mute the mic and go check and see if it's time to put the boy to bed, and I'll be back in maybe 10 minutes or so. So don't go anywhere. Let's do that one. Am I here? Oh man, you can even hear me. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. Thanks for hanging around. I don't remember what the fuck we were doing. We were making a map. We're done with the outline. I'm gonna drop out this pipe because I must have just packed it wrong because it is not fucking going anywhere for me. So, thinking about what we're going to do next. I think I'm going to go through and I'm going to do the hatching and all of those. Because it's just, you know, a fun, pretty looking thing to do. I'll probably stick close on the exteriors to give room for notes. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Yeah, I just packed that too tight. That's why it never didn't take to the flame. I got too busy talking probably and not paying attention and just didn't pack my pipe correctly. So did I bring another one? I did. I brought this one. Let me put that down here. Look at that gorgeous thing. So I got tobacco smudge on my finger already. Or soot. So what is it? It's a Nord Viking solid pipe. Really wide fucking bit on it. Well, that's cool. Let's do a little refresh. Oh, it will be dicks. Where are we at? We're still here. Still got my shitty whiskey. It was Bird Dog Peach whiskey. It's really, I enjoy it greatly. But for less than $20 a bottle, I don't think a lot of people would probably put it as a good whiskey. Well, that's alright. They do what they do. Let's go light this time. Let's not be an asshole. And overpack this pipe. So I don't know if I'm going to keep Fierno over in room 14 as his throne room. That's definitely, you know, where he was hiding at before. But with his newfound love of a boba, the dragon. Oh, that's what happened. Oh no, I put in the fountain pens subreddit. I put a thing like, "Hey, I'm streaming with my pins right now," and it was removed because I was dumb and did not read the rules rules, and you can only do self-promoting stuff on Tuesdays. And we wear pink on Wednesdays. So that's my fault. The mod who posted that was polite, but to the point, and that's all you can ask for. So, I got my pipe reloaded. I'm ready to start drawing, I guess. I guess I should light the pipe first. Went through all the trouble. It's so cold here that my lighter doesn't want to go. It's setting just a hair under 30 on the temperature gauge. Alright, so let's do some hatch work. Once again, oops, you let go. I got my TWSBI Eco Extra Fine with the Noodlers. Christ, I swear it's like the Navajo Sapphire or something, or turquoise, Navajo turquoise. This is going to be tough because usually I get all up on my paper and I need to leave some space so you can see. Well, let's start. Perfection is definitely not key here. You're just adding texture to make the interior lines a little more readable. So yeah, I'll just pick a corner and start from there. Fill any voids in with just some extra lines, like that and that. Right down there. Do a little wiggle. There we go. Okay. So since my players aren't supposed to watch this, of course I didn't tell them that, they should know better. The plan is they're going to make it down to the red eyes layer, and if you were watching earlier tonight when I was talking about the red eye, he had them distribute those slugs on corpses through the levels previously. And what those slugs did is they took over the corpse, and they found other corpses, and they killed creatures, and they added essentially their biomass, their limbs and shit, to themselves, making just a giant monstrosity. So what would have happened is those things serve two purposes for the red eye. The first, I'm off camera. There we go. I'm sorry. The first would have been to just clear out the caniculum. And that would have been, I need to go back up here, don't I? Oops. Oh well. The second is just gathering meat, gathering dead. Because essentially he's making a portal to summon Orcus, and the ritual to do it is just corpses, just murder, and using the corpses of those to form this giant like archway, and then using undead and dead and currently living to kind of fuel the magical energy so he can summon Orcus. Yeah. Hey, MCDM just went live playing some NetHack. Doesn't he know that I'm streaming right now? That guy. Actually, I need to get back to watching his live play game, The Chain. I caught all of the first episode and I haven't watched the rest, but it was really good. And from looking at the Reddit shit, things have gone wild, and I should be watching it. I think that I like his playstyle. I'm definitely I like lore, but I like presenting lore in not an aggressive way, very passively. The party doesn't actually need to know any of this to do what they're doing, but it kind of just gives kind of a little bit of depth to their shit. And he's real heavy on lore, and he's not, like I said, I guess the point is we're not super heavy on roleplay here. We could do more with roleplay, but we definitely tend to be a little more tactical and just kind of chilling out, having fun playing a game. And I've started incorporating Roll20. And if you watched our one-shot Star Wars stream last night, we used Roll20 for the entire thing there. So there's the hatching. It's moving along. It can be kind of tedious. I don't know. Once you kind of get in a groove, it's not so bad. The problem is, once I get this fleshed out here, I'm going to have to make a map of this on Roll20 for the party to see. But it's kind of one of those things. In order for me to really commit this to memory, I need to draw it, and I need to note everything on it. If not, I won't know it well enough to really feel comfortable running it. I tend to do that with everything I ran. In this same campaign, I had him go through the White Plume Mountain dungeon. I just pretty much just changed the reason why they went in and changed the end payload. And they went through White Plume Mountain, but I had to completely redraw the map just so I felt comfortable enough to run it. And yeah. So let's go down here and hatch some more. And we'll come back up here. The party actually did the Bard earlier on the first floor of this dungeon. I guess I'm in a weird little holding pattern there. Let's move away from that. I just want to break that up. I don't want it to be... You'll pick out the patterns with your eyes and it'll draw you there. And we don't want that. We want to be able to just move past that hatching. Like I said, we're just giving definition to the rooms. So, there we go. Back up to the top. I fucked up that too. I'm not happy about that. I was too busy trying to dodge wet ink. I should have just fucking came back to it later. Anyway. So I think the party will eventually come across the red eye. And I think the plan will be, conveniently, they show up at the end of the red eyes ritual. And the end of that ritual will be him offing himself. For the final component of summoning Orcus. But of course, you know, he's been a good servant to Orcus. Of course, Orcus is going to bring him back once combat started. I'm not worried about, you know, the party having any trouble with Orcus. They're fucking OP as shit. So I feel pretty confident that the party will be able to defeat him. You know, who knows if everyone will survive. The great thing is going to be that the party, they're killing time essentially. They have to go meet what was an old PC of a player who's not in the campaign anymore. And they had to wait until the next new moon, which is like 2 weeks away. So they're like, oh, we're in town. Let's go deal with the red eye real quick, and then we'll head over for the meetup. And it'll be quite amusing that, you know, a little task they took on just to waste time will have them going up against the Lord of the Undead, or, you know, whatever it is that Orcus refers to himself as. Look at that, I'm getting ash everywhere. Can you see that? You can't even see that. Look at that. I'm drawing off camera again. There's that fucked up part. God damn, I'm having a hard time. Usually I can get these things going, and they just fucking last forever. Tonight, they're just giving me trouble. Yeah, still on camera. Last night, for our regular stream, it would have been Alex's game. He was out sick. Joe was out sick. Allie couldn't make it. So I ran a Star Wars one-off game. I was woefully underprepared. The problem is, I wanted to go get like I have the Edge of the Empire starter set, and I've got all the fucking books. but I wanted to run one of the starter sets, and one of the starter sets I didn't have for the core books. I ran a campaign in the system before. So I thought I would be fairly familiar with it. So I head over to the local store, and all they have is the Force Awakens tie-in box, and it just, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it when I started thumbing through it, and maybe it was just because it was a tie-in, like, you know, the other ones fucking aren't, but it just felt more heavy-handed, and I just was not excited about it. So I scrapped it with like an hour to go till game time, and dug out my Edge of the Empire starter box, and I ran it. Uh, Not well, but we made through. We had some fun. Uh, BH, the One Crit Wonder guy, he ended up hanging out on the stream for quite a while, kind of answering questions and helping us out with mechanics since we were all wildly, you know, out of touch with the rules for it. We'd all played that system before. Just none of us fucking remembered what to do. Look at that. I doubled over my hatchings right there. So yeah, it was a great fucking time. I was supposed to tell a story on the stream and I fucking forgot. Last time I ran that starter box, the Edge of the Empire starter box, it was for a bunch of guys from work. There's this one guy. He's a vet. Yeah, it's a, you know, you're getting old. I'm like, he was a vet. You know, he saw combat. I don't think he was in active combat. I don't know for sure, but I know he was over in Afghanistan for a while. And the WebDM guys kind of summed it up best. Like, if you ever get a chance to play with like a military guy, someone who knows like tactics and stuff, it's just they view the solutions to problems in a different way, I guess. And so, for those of you who know the Edge of the Empire starter box, um, you're wanted by the local Hutt crime lord, and there's a suitable ship docked that belongs to one of that Hutt crime lord's associates, and you've got to get that ship and get the fuck out of Dodge. And the you know, the hurdles, the complications are the ship is not functioning. There's a vital component missing, and the ship has its docking clamps locked down. So you have to get a replacement part, which is easy enough. And then you have to get the docking clamps released somehow. And the book kind of intends for the players to have to go to the spaceport control and either talk their way or fight their way through it, earning them the attention of the local stormtroopers. Well, the party, I probably didn't do a good enough job explaining it. Like I said, I wasn't prepared, and that was my fault there. They didn't catch that the clamps needed to be released, so they got the spare part, and they fucking made their way to the ship. They fought their way onto the ship, uh, and they were ready to take off. They even got the part installed without much trouble. They said, let's just install this. They knew they didn't need it for takeoff, but they're like, let's just get this out of the way before we even lift off. Of course, they try to lift off. The docking clamps are on. They can't fucking go anywhere. So they try to call up. Anyway, they botched everything. They got captured by the troopers. The troopers turned them over to the Hutts, because of course they would for a fat bribe. Hutts ended up fighting them in the gladiator pit. Eventually they escaped, and they got to the ship, and they took the Hutt's main, assistant dude hostage, and he was able to get the spaceport to release the clamps. And we just called it there. I'm like, all right, you guys are able to leave the planet now. Technically, there's still a space battle, but I don't really care for the space battles in that game. And maybe it's just my own misunderstanding of the rules. Um, so anyway, back to the point of the story. The guy I work with, he and I are good buddies. He's in the army. Vet. Was over there. I think it was Afghanistan. I had two friends in the army, and one of them was Afghanistan, and the other one was Iraq. And I don't remember which one's which. And I probably should. They were over there in the desert, putting themselves on the line for their country, so my fat ass can lounge around and play video games all day. Anyway, so I made a mistake when they made it to the junk shop, and hypermatter reactor igniter, I think is the part called. He says, that sounds like it could probably explode. He does a check. Do they have more than one? In the book, it very specifically states there's only one. I missed that line, so I'm like, let's roll it out. Me being a D&D guy, we just rolled percentile. Sure enough, there's two. He's like, I want to buy two. And then I think he was playing a mechanic or someone with some good mechanical skills. And he's just like, is there a speeder bike in a junk lot? I'm like, let's roll it out. It's not functional. He's like, I want to fix it. We go through the trouble. He rolls it out. I am off the fucking camera again. Actually, let's move back up to the top anyway. He gets a speeder bike. He fixes it. He's like, now I want to use my skills to rig this thing on this speeder bike and set it on a timer to explode. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Let's roll it out. It's going to be really difficult. He fucking nails it. And he's just like, so he's looking at the map. He's like, this is where that Hutt crime boss lives, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, cool. I want to take this speeder bike and I want to aim it there, and I want to rig the accelerator and the steering so it goes in a straight line very fast, directly into the front entrance of this place. And he just fucking exploded the entire goddamn building. Killed the evil Hut crime lord boss. And he's like, we now have the leisure of escaping this. And they still went through. They got the clamps undone. They got, the ship fixed. They took off. They did the space combat. But it's just kind of like, he's like, okay, this person is no longer going to be a threat. Who's posting what? Dan's posting a thing. Oh, okay. It was something we were talking about on Discord. That reminds me, if you're watching this on Twitch, you can scroll down and you can join our Discord if you want to hang out and talk with us and see all of the despicable memes that my wife finds and puts in our meme dump. If you're watching this on YouTube, because I think I'll stick this on YouTube, why the fuck not, right? Look, I'm off camera and I fucked up right there. Oh, bam. Fucked up. Anyway, head over to our Twitch. You'll see the link to our Discord if you want to join and talk with us and hang out. And we can be fun. We're generally pretty laid back and just don't be a dick. We'll be great friends. Oh my gosh, all this hatching, and I got like a half hour to go. I might actually sign off here in a few. Just so I can get ready for that meeting I got here in a half hour. You can tell it's really cold here, but I'm at the point where it's not bothering me too much, so my fingers are pretty loosened up. Let's go over here, put some hatches. Bam, 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 bam. Let's put some extra lines here and there just to break shit up. Like I said, you don't really want a noticeable pattern because then your eyes will get drawn to it and it'll be a distraction. Or if someone else like, oh, what's there? Nothing's there. Like, well, why does it look different? I go, because I accidentally got too much of a pattern going on and it really fucking stood out. I'm off camera again. You guys gotta warn me about that. Look, that's all of it. I can even hold it up over here, maybe. It's such a tiny thing. Anyway, so now that I got that, I'll go over all of these with the. Let me just show real quick what that's going to look like. I'll be using my TWSBI VAC Mini 1.1 stub, and I'll just be. Let me actually. The thing with the VAC pens, they've got a huge ink reservoir because the ink's dark enough you can't really tell, but that's the ink. And you have to, oh, it's already unscrewed. Okay, you gotta unscrew this because there's a little plunger here that blocks the ink reservoir from going to the nib. But since I don't carry this with me, I just keep it here in my ink jar and use it for writing and drawing. I don't really ever plug that up because I'm not worried about it leaking in my pockets. Let's get that a little more centered on the screen. So yeah, I'll just go through with this and just lay down some thicker lines over that. And I'll still need to go through with I'm spinning this around. Usually that's what I do when I draw, is I just spin the whole fucking thing around to fit the line I'm doing. But this will also help me hide some fuck ups. This paper does a great job of not bleeding or ghosting. And the dots are great for map making. I used to just go to Walmart and just load up on like their little, oops, got kind of wild up there, architect notebooks. So that's kind of what I'll do, is I'll line it out and then I'll go through with notes and I'll just kind of write a real brief description, kind of like I did here, description of what's in the room. I'll have a few notes. I didn't get a lot of notes on here, but you can kind of see I did more on the original version of the map. But I think that's all I'm going to do for right now. I'm going to close this up and call it a fucking night. Thanks for watching this. You can Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I think we got a Facebook. Who fucking knows? Let's go ahead and... No, we're not going to do that. Fuck it. That's my hand. High hand. That's where we are. Thumbs up. Can't see that. Yeah, that's where we are. Thanks for watching. I'm going to fucking kick over to the... I guess we're going to kick over... Did I do a stop? I didn't. We're just going to kick over to... why don't we fucking fix that? We'll just do right there. That's my fault. I shouldn't have done that. That's what I should have done. So we'll go over here. And we'll go here. And we'll do this. And we'll do bam. So professional. You guys just want to... Why did it do that? You guys can't even see me. I don't even know if you can hear me right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to sign off. I'll catch you all later. Oh, it's stupid of me. Anyway, so now I'm going to click this. I'm going to let it spin for a few seconds. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Oops, hang on.